GM's pony cars have never made any bones about what they are. They've always been unabashedly American. And for many people, this brings out a real kind of sense of appeal, including myself, because I actually own one of these things. And of course, after going away in 2002, GM wisely decided to resurrect at least the Camaro. They brought it back for the 2010 model year, and this year in 2011 they had the convertible. Here we are in Muskoka. It's the end of summer, it's pouring down with rain, and we've got a 2011 Camaro SS ragtop. So now that it's damp and soggy and basically the right kind of weather for testing such a car, let's see what she can do.
Stood tall like a lion, brave with no fear, who battled like a tyrant, death defying, sporting himself like a riot.
So here we are, driving the 2011 Chevrolet Camaro Convertible. And at a glance, it appears this car has got all the right ingredients to be a great performance vehicle. I mean, this is the SS model, so it's got the 6.2-litre V8 under the hood, though in this case the 400 horsepower version instead of the 426 horsepower version, because we've got a 6-speed automatic. Though that said, it does have a manual shift mode with paddle shifters on it.
Now, a sports car with an automatic, GM even knows the joke. You lose 26 horsepower as soon as you touch that automatic option. Why it costs more for less is beyond me. It does have paddle shifts on it, but if you're paddle shifting an automatic, that's kind of like kissing your sister. Feels right, but it's just no good.
You know, one bitches and the other moans. I don't know what the problem is with these guys in this car. The car blew everyone away just from the design drawings from the car. Definitely there's a retro feel here in the overall design of the car. Inside the cockpit, it's all retro. In fact, it's meant to evoke those emotions that you get from an 80s Camaro. I mean, after all, it was the heyday of Camaros. They did well in showroom stock racing series. In Canada, it even had its own racing series. And this car is definitely evocative of that. And this is the first 5 minutes I've been driving it.
However, the more I drive this car, the more enigmatic it becomes. It's almost to me like a modern interpretation of the 1980s IROC Z Camaro. I mean, sure, it does some things really quite well. It's fast in a straight line, it corners well, it stops well too. However, there's just some things, some little quirks about this car that kind of infuriate you after a while. For example, the interior. It's not particularly that great. There's lots of black scratchy plastic in here, and there's just a feeling of overall cheapness which seems to plague GM interiors. The seats as well, they're not that supportive. I mean, I'm sat in this one, and as a performance car I want to be sort of hugged by the seat and supported. This one I feel is kind of soft and flat, a bit like my grandmother's couch actually.
And if you'll notice the SS badge behind my head, it does denote the fact that anybody that lays their head there, it's super simple. That's what it means.
Well, I understand that Hugh and Andy don't like the seats. The problem with you guys is you just don't have enough mass. You're built like me. The seats are fantastic. I could drive to Vancouver in this thing. And as far as the interior is concerned, yeah, it's definitely retro, but I kind of dig the square gauges forward of the shifter. I dig the script that they've used for the tachometer and speedometer. Takes me back to the 80s. As far as fit and finish is concerned, you know, it's acceptable, but what Camaro did have excellent fit and finish? Certainly nothing from the 60s. 70s were kind of a joke. Yeah, this Camaro is about spot on with what you'd expect from a Camaro interior. What could be wrong with that? A little further into the drive, I'm beginning to see the wisdom of this car being in fly yellow. Everybody we pass takes a look at it, and frankly, for a Camaro owner, that's one of the things that you're looking for. And everybody who stops and talks to us asks us about the car. They're very curious about it, and they ought to be, because it really is a flashy looking car.
Now, when I wasn't with the crew last night, I actually took this car into town just to go show it off. And I was multiple times asked when it was going to transform, which I really don't care about. I multiple times opened the trunk waiting for Megan Fox to get out of this thing. And really, the driving dynamics of the SS and the convertible, it's kind of lost on me. If you had the coupe, you get the tighter handling. You're not ever going to take a car like this to a track day, let's face it. It's just too all over the place. The coupe's where it's at. This is a nice sunny day car, just meant for cruising, bombing around town, seeing what's going on and being seen.
That said, I do like F-bodies. I own one. And drive this Camaro SS, it's sure better than any Mustang on the road.
The only good thing I find about this car, you can take it over to a Ford dealer and trade it in on a Mustang tomorrow. No waiting.
I like the Camaro. I don't care what Andy or Hugh say about it. My first driving impression is that of a good solid piece, well priced, definitely turns heads, and let's face it, the IROC Camaro was a famous car in its day. You know, I almost feel like unbuttoning my shirt to here, putting on a gold chain and showing up in front of a disco, because it really does have that retro feel. Doesn't it scare you a little bit now? But doesn't it scare you a little bit to know that the mid-'80s is now considered retro? None of us are getting any younger. So at the end of the day, you could be forgiven for asking yourself, do I really need a car like this? Well, no, you don't need a car like this. This would be a good second or third car. But do you want a car like this? Well, the more I drive it, the more I'd have to say, yeah, I think you want a car like this, baby. And if you don't, you're probably not old enough to appreciate it.